Imagine a place where water does more than hide ordinary fish. It conceals silent predators, creatures that seem prehistoric, animals so strange they gave birth to legends, fears, and stories whispered across generations. Brazil is home to the largest river system on Earth, a vast network of dark, silent waters stretching far beyond the horizon. And beneath these seemingly calm surfaces, there exists a hidden world, ancient, wild, almost completely unknown. Today, on ZooLab, we dive far beyond the surface, not only into Brazilian waters, but into the myths, behaviors, and untold secrets of four of the most unusual aquatic animals in this country. Prepare yourself, because some of them do not simply live in nature. They seem to defy everything we believe we know about it.
Teixe boy, Amazonian manatee, the gentle giant of silent waters. In the calm waters of the Amazon, where the river mirrors the sky and time seems to slow down, lives a creature that feels as if it belongs to a forgotten age. The Amazonian manatee is not a fish. It is a fully aquatic mammal, a distant relative of elephants and one of the largest freshwater animals on the planet. Reaching up to 3 meters in length and weighing nearly half a ton, its size alone is impressive. But its behavior tells a completely different story. The manatee lives slowly. It swims gently. It breathes calmly. And it spends most of its life feeding quietly beneath the surface. Unlike its marine relatives, the Amazonian manatee lives exclusively in fresh water, inhabiting rivers, lakes, and hidden channels deep within the rainforest. Its diet is entirely plant-based: aquatic grasses, submerged vegetation, floating plants. Each day, it can consume up to 10% of its own body weight, playing a crucial role in keeping the ecosystem balanced. But perhaps the most fascinating part of this animal is its relationship with humans. For centuries, indigenous communities described seeing large shapes rising slowly from the water at dusk, holding their young close to their chests. These sightings gave rise to the legend of the Amazonian mermaids. Not because of beauty, but because of the almost human-like way the manatee surfaces to breathe. The Amazonian manatee can live 40 to 60 years, a long, quiet life. Sadly, its peaceful nature made it vulnerable. For generations, it was hunted for meat and fat. Today, it faces fishing nets, habitat destruction, and the constant threat of extinction. A giant that survives only because it never learned to fight.
Tubarão cabeça chata, bull shark, the predator that broke the rules of the ocean. When we think of sharks, we imagine the open ocean, salt water, deep blue horizons. But one shark decided to ignore all those rules. The bull shark is one of the most adaptable predators ever to exist. It does not belong only to the sea. It travels into rivers, invades freshwater systems, and enters places where sharks should not exist. In Brazil, bull sharks have been recorded not only along the coast, but also far inland, swimming through estuaries and large rivers. Physically, the bull shark is a living tank, a thick, muscular body, a wide, blunt head. It can grow over 3.5 meters long and weigh more than 200 kilograms. But its true power lies inside its body. While most sharks rely on ocean salinity to survive, the bull shark possesses a rare biological ability. It can regulate the salt concentration in its blood. This allows it to move freely between saltwater and freshwater without suffering shock. When it comes to feeding, the bull shark is not selective. Fish, rays, other sharks, even mammals. This adaptability made it one of the most successful predators on Earth and also one of the most feared. There are historical accounts of sharks seen hundreds of kilometers upriver. Stories told by fishermen who swear they saw an impossible shadow gliding beneath muddy waters. The bull shark can live 30 to 40 years, and throughout its life it remains a reminder that not all dangers come from the sea. Giant river prawn, P2, the hidden monster of Brazilian rivers. An animal that looks ordinary until you see its true size. The giant river prawn, known locally as the P2, can grow over 30 centimeters long. Its claws are large, powerful, almost prehistoric in appearance. It lives in rivers, estuaries, and mangroves, hiding among rocks, roots, and fallen logs. It is omnivorous, opportunistic, and incredibly resilient. Fishermen tell stories of nets being dragged underwater, of fish disappearing without explanation. The P2 is territorial, and when threatened, it does not retreat. It confronts. It can live up to 6 years, growing slowly, becoming a silent ruler of its environment. The candiru, the invisible fish that terrorized the Amazon. There is a kind of fear that does not roar. It has no massive jaws, no warning signs. It does not chase. It does not attack in plain sight. It hides. Deep beneath the dark, silent waters of the Amazon, where sunlight barely reaches and visibility fades into nothing, lives a creature that became one of the most disturbing legends in natural history. An animal so small it seems harmless, so controversial that scientists still debate its reputation, and yet so infamous that its name alone is enough to provoke fear. This creature is known as the candiru. The Amazon is not just a rainforest. It is a maze of rivers, vast, murky, unpredictable. In many places, the water is so dark that you cannot see your own hand just inches below the surface. It is within this environment that the candiru thrives. Slow-moving rivers, warm waters, sandy bottoms, absolute silence. This is where the candiru becomes almost impossible to detect. A living shadow, a ghost beneath the surface. Scientifically known as Vandellia serosa, the candiru measures only 2 to 3 centimeters in length. Its body is thin, elongated, and nearly transparent. At first glance, it appears insignificant, but its biology tells a darker story. The candiru is a parasitic fish. Its survival depends on precision, speed, and invisibility. It detects chemical traces in the water, especially ammonia released through the gills of other fish. Guided by this invisible signal, it approaches without being seen. In a fraction of a second, it enters the gills of its host. Small spines anchor it in place, and it feeds on blood. The entire process takes moments. In nature, this is simply survival. But outside of nature, the story changes.
For centuries, riverside communities whispered stories along the riverbanks. Stories of a fish so small that it could enter the human body. Stories told quietly, often at night. According to the legend, the candiru is attracted to human urine. It mistakes the stream for the flow of water from a fish's gills. Driven by instinct, it follows the signal, and then it enters. These stories spread from village to village, from generation to generation. When European explorers and naturalists arrived in the Amazon, they heard the warnings and carried the fear back with them. By the 19th century, reports began to appear in medical journals and travel logs. Descriptions were vague, evidence was limited. Many accounts were impossible to verify. Some claimed the fish became lodged internally, requiring surgical removal. Others described unbearable pain and permanent damage. Modern science questions many of these reports. Confirmed cases are extremely rare. Some remain inconclusive to this day. But the truth is not what matters most. What matters is this: even if the risk is minimal, the fear became real. The candiru possesses every element necessary to become a global legend. It lives in dark water. It is nearly invisible. It feeds on blood. It attacks without warning. It makes no sound. And most importantly, you never see it coming. Unlike large predators, crocodiles, anacondas, or sharks, the candiru does not announce itself. There is no splash, no movement. It is already there. This psychological factor transformed a tiny fish into one of the most feared creatures of the Amazon, despite its fragile body and short lifespan. Biologists argue that the candiru evolved to parasitize fish, not humans. Its behavior is highly specific, its biology finely tuned. And yet, scientists also acknowledge something crucial. The Amazon is still not fully understood. Its ecosystems remain only partially explored. Not everything has been observed. Not everything has been documented. This leaves the candiru suspended in a gray zone, between science and folklore, between fact and fear. The candiru lives a short life, usually between 1 and 3 years. But unlike many massive predators that vanish into obscurity, this tiny fish achieved something rare. It became immortal in the human imagination. It appears in books, documentaries, medical debates, and horror stories. A symbol of invisible danger, of fear born from uncertainty. Perhaps the candiru was never the monster people believed it to be. Or perhaps its legend was amplified by humanity's deepest fear, the fear of what cannot be seen. But one thing is certain. In the dark waters of the Amazon, the greatest terror is not what you can see, it is what you cannot. And here on ZooLab, we continue to explore that boundary, where science ends, myth begins, and fear quietly waits beneath the surface.
Beneath the calm surface of Brazilian waters exists a wild, ancient, and unseen world. These animals are not just curiosities, they are living chapters of Earth's history. And here on ZooLab, every video is a new expedition inside the greatest laboratory of all, nature itself.